wanted to talk to you about this break that we're on right now. We can call it a break, right? I think it's a wonderful opportunity, in spite of the mayhem around it, to take some time and each one for ourselves, and to assess where we are in our lives, who we are, what we're doing, both here on this planet that we call Earth, and what we're doing with our lives. What is the greater context? What is the personal context? What is it that we should be focusing on, really? It's so easy to get caught up in the rituals that we set up for ourselves. Perhaps ritual is the wrong term, because it involves some thinking and some ceremonious aspect to it that helps you to think about something, to focus on something. But the habits, perhaps the schedules that we make for ourselves and that we get used to, and then we follow them blindly each and every day, going through our lives, without being aware of really what we're doing, what the greater purpose is, what the point of it all is. And I'm not just talking about personal goals, right? Those are important to have, and it's important to work each and every day toward your personal goals. And kudos to you, and I hope you achieve them. But I'm talking about that age-old question, the meaning of life, and the meaning of your life, of my life. What does it all mean? What's the point of it? And when you simply set your alarm clock to wake up at a certain time in the morning, and then you get up and you go to the bathroom and you get dressed and you eat a little breakfast and you go to work and you do your work and back, you get into that, it's very easy to lose sight of it. And it's a pity, really, because life is pretty interesting. This phenomenon that we call life is pretty unlikely to happen anyway, and yet here we are. And so whether we like it or not, whether we want it or not, here we are. We're here now. I don't know how long into this. I haven't even counted the days. There's no point to counting them anyway. We've been forced to be with ourselves. Whether that means you're alone, or whether that means you're with your family, there you are. And I think a very good test of where you are as a person is the ability to be with yourself. Can you stand yourself? in those quiet moments of solitude, in that space where you can't hear anything but your breathing, or perhaps the beating of your heart, or maybe just the faraway din of the world that drags on, albeit at a much slower pace, around you. Are you comfortable with that? Is it something that you look forward to? Another question to look at is your home. Is your home a place where you want to be? Is it a place where you enjoy spending your time? If it isn't, you're missing out on something really wonderful. If you haven't set up your home as a place where you can truly be, and relax and just breathe and enjoy your life, then really what's the point? What's the point? What are you working for? Setting up your home, setting up your living space as a place where you're comfortable, at the very least comfortable, should be your primary concern in life. Because your home is the place where your roots are. It's the place that you look forward to getting every day. It's the place that you don't like leaving every day when you go to work. Your home is an extension of your self. And the way your home looks on the inside and on the outside is, to a degree, a reflection of your inner state. And if you're not happy in being at home, then you need to take a good look at yourself. You need to take a good look at what you've been doing and make the changes that are needed in order for you to feel at home in your home. Another question to look at is what we do with our time now that we're home. Obviously, some of us have jobs, and we do that work. But now we also have extra time that we can spend developing ourselves, time that we can invest in ourselves so that we become better people, so that we know more about life, about culture, about history, about the world, about what makes us tick. And from looking around online, I get the sense that most people are still wasting their free time watching TV, watching shows to no end. And they're wasting this wonderful opportunity that we've been given, whether we wanted it or not, to work on ourselves a bit. Look, most of the world has either slowed down or stopped. And yet, most people, even though they're shut in their homes, are trying to carry on as if the world's still going at the same pace that it used to be going. And that's not the case anymore. Probably won't be for a little while longer. So why don't we take that time to learn, to reflect, to be quiet with ourselves. I love, I don't know about you, but I love being at home. I love being alone at home. I love being alone in general, frankly. One of the reasons that you don't see me making videos a whole lot is because I don't feel a need to connect with people. I don't feel a need to share with people. I feel moved or nudged at times to make videos about certain subjects, about certain topics, or to share a particular update about something. But believe me, it's a battle to do it. I'd rather just be with myself. It's not something that I look forward to. So perhaps I'm different from most people in that sense. I don't know. Well, I do know I am. People think I'm weird because I don't like to be with people, but that's how I am. I enjoy a bit of social contact here and there, but once every few months is enough for me. Any more than that, and it's just frivolous. So for me, this has been a very enjoyable experience. I loved taking a break from it, being afforded that opportunity. And that's not to say I haven't been taking care of my work. Thankfully, for the past, I don't know how many, 10 years? 11 years? We've been working toward, and we've succeeded in achieving that, in doing most of our home work from home. And so, while my wife and I own a company, well, it's a small company. It's just us two. But we've set it up from the start as something that we can run from home. And so I've always been working from home, more or less. But we've also had other projects that have taken us away from home. So we've always had to put up with that as well. Being away from home is not something I enjoy again, but when duty calls, I go and I do it. For example, one of the projects that we've set up a year and a half ago is an NGO, a non-profit organization through which we take care of and we restore historic monuments. And the ones that we felt moved to restore were the Saxon fortified churches of Transylvania, of southern Transylvania. And so far we've taken on 2 of them. And so that work is what takes me away from home. And like I said, when that duty calls, I go and I do it. And by now, if this situation hadn't occurred, I would be knee-deep or waist-deep in our projects, going to these sites every day, because it is warm outside and we can do the work that we need to do. Work that kind of stops during the winter, although not really, because you still have to go and inspect, make sure pipes haven't burst, feed animals, just physically inspect the sites. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that by now I would have been gone every day working. And I was gearing up to do just that as the winter was coming to an end. And when this thing hit, I was kind of grateful because I could stay at home. And I know when this thing winds down, I'm going to have to go back to work, and we actually have been going to work, but at a slower pace. Yeah. My wife is away right now working on the Mission Kirchenburg, the fortified church in the village of Mission, the Saxon village of Mission, which is just outside of our city. Either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, I'm going to be at the fortified church in Magai, the Saxon village, which is about half an hour away from where we live, doing a bit of work there. And so our work, carries on at a slower pace, but it still does. But I really do enjoy this time that I get to spend at home. I just love it. I love reading now. I took the time and I reorganized all our library of books. And set aside about over 100 books because my wife and I are trying to set up a library of books at the Mission Kirchenburg, so that when we do have visitors in the future, one of the things they can do is also check out books and read them while they're there. But I also found interesting books in our library that I've set aside for me to read, and I'm reading them, and I suppose I should show you one of them right now. Here, let me just bring it to you. Here it is. It's an old book. It was written in the 1800s, and it's a wonderful little gem that I found in our library. And it's been in quite a few hands since it's come out. There are all kinds of stamps in it, either from people's personal libraries or various libraries that it's been in. And I don't know when the book was published. This particular edition was published, but I do know that it was a while back. It seems to be before World War II. And it's a small book. It's in Romanian. It's been translated in Romanian. It was written by Baron Erich von Feuchtersleben. I hope I'm saying that name right. Feuchtersleben, yeah. So it's Baron Erich von Feuchtersleben from Austria, which at that time was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The book is called Igiena Sufletului. Well, it's in Romanian again. In English, I guess you could call it. You could translate it as the hygiene of the soul. It's about beauty, imagination, intelligence, and willpower. It's a lovely little gem of a book that I really enjoyed reading. And I'm still reading it. I've got the book sign over here, you see. And The life of the author is also very interesting, and there's a bit of a biography at the start of the book, well, in this edition of the book, about him. But it's a lovely little gem that you just want to read like a few paragraphs at a time and then sit and think about what you've read. So this is one of the books that I found that didn't know I had in my library, because my library isn't just my library, it's actually, it's been added to by my grandfather, by my mother, by a couple of her sisters, and we've also been gifted books over time, and this must have been one of the books that was gifted to me by I don't know who, but it's a wonderful, wonderful book. Probably when I was young at some point, somehow it made its way into the library. And then we've also added a bunch of books ourselves to the library over the years. So quite a few books, and it's easy to lose track of a small book like this, I guess, over the years, but I'm glad I found it. So this is how I spend my days when I'm not working either on the computer or at one of the sites where our NGO operates. And yeah, it's been a truly welcome change of pace for me. That's not to say that we haven't also taken losses along with this slowing down. Obviously we have, as did everyone. Yeah, it's been hurting a bit. At the same time, I believe that it's been offset by this amazing opportunity to be with ourselves. I love being at home. I love being with my wife, with my daughter, who's growing up so fast these days. And every day when I look at her, her face changes a little more. She's really growing up. She's changing so much. And if I'd be gone all day, so busy with work, I might not notice these things, or once a week or once every couple of weeks I'd take a better look at her face and go, oh my God, she's changed. But now that I'm home with her every day, I can really see that. And yeah, one of the joys in life is, I think one of the really interesting joys in life is to see the little person that you've given life to, that you actually made with your genetic material, grow up, and to see the changes happen, and to mold that little person into a human being, to impart knowledge, to impart lessons, to just enjoy that process. I think that's one of the wonderful joys in life. Yeah. And I really do think that when you have more than one child, you tend to lose sight of those joys. You think you're getting more of them, but you're so busy taking care of them that you kind of lose sight of that, of those little tiny pleasures, joys of being a parent, because you're overwhelmed and you don't know it. So if you've been reading my site, you know my views on population and people who have many children and such. Anyway, that's not the focus of this video. But I just wanted to sort of sit down and share my thoughts with you on this period, which is interesting. to say the least. And it's life-changing for many people. And it's also history in the making. We're living through it, through an interesting phase in human history. I think we can safely say this is the biggest event of the 21st century that we've seen so far. And I think if we lose sight of many things, really, as it's easy to lose sight of many things in the face of mass hysteria, it's easy to devolve and I can see this situation as something that could devolve into some nasty conflicts. But then again, this thing's been a long time coming, particularly in the States, where the polarization of the viewpoints expressed in the media and at various forums reached a point of utter ridiculousness and an illogical lack of responsibility. And it's that very same polarization of views that led to conflicts, the major conflicts of the 20th century. And so we have a situation now before us where we've got a polarization of views, where we've got economic, whatever you want to call it, recession, depression, that could devolve into something nasty. On the other hand, if we pull through this together, we'll come out better for it. So once again, we come to the theme of this video, which is enjoy this time you have at home. Spend it well, spend it wisely. Invest in yourself. Improve yourself. Enjoy the quiet. The world will start back up soon enough, and you will once again be deafened by the gears of economy and industry and the busyness of it all. Whatever's left of this, please make sure to make the most of it.